Welcome back to the channel, featuring me and this gutter pipe. I'm just like, why didn't I pick a better place to start my video? And I'm not doing it again. So, me and the gutter pipe. Back on track here though. Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you are doing well. I'm taking a walk this morning outside. Ira is napping and I'm enjoying some of the cool air that I'm feeling right now. Fall is upon us. It is quickly approaching. The garden is on its way to dying back. It's that time of year, and you can really start to feel in these late summer mornings, you're getting kind of an idea of what fall is going to feel like, and some of the summer evenings too. That cooler air starts ushering in, and I can start to kind of think about what fall smells like, kind of the cool, crisp air, the crunchy leaves, all of the wonderful things about fall. That's one of my favorite seasons. I have to say my favorite season is probably spring, but I do love the fall. And I love pulling my sweaters out of the closet, drinking hot tea, that kind of thing. For the last several years, now it's going to be a little different this year, right, with the babies, but for the last several years, the boys go hunting at different times in the fall, and Corey would sometimes come and stay with us while Austin was gone. And even before she got married and moved out, Dad would always go hunting. And the times when we would all be here, me, Corey, and Mom together, and we would kind of pile into the living room at night and eat popcorn and watch, if it was around Halloween, we might watch Halloween movies or kind of watch our favorite little TV shows and kind of just commune. All the girls of the house commune together while the boys were gone hunting. And that's a really sweet memory too. But anyway, I'm kind of got distracted here with thinking and talking about fall, but back to the original point of this video, which would be the questions that I have to ask you. Do you do these things? Number one, do you, since we're speaking about fall, so it is related, in the fall, in the winter, whenever you're cold and you go to put a jacket on or a sweatshirt, if you have a long sleeve on, do you hold your sleeves down at the bottom? Like in your hands, like would you, if I had a long sleeve on, would you like take your long sleeve and grab it like that and put your coat on? Or would you just put the coat on and then reach up in the sleeve of the coat and pull your long sleeves out and kind of adjust so you didn't have like the fabric of your shirt bunched under your jacket? Because let me tell you something, I cannot stand putting on a jacket or anything over a long sleeve shirt and having my shirt bunch under the jacket just for 1 second. Just long, even I can't even stand it long enough to where I could reach up the jacket sleeve and pull the shirt out. It's a sensory thing. I don't like that. It's the same thing like if I'm washing my hands and I have a jacket or a long sleeve on, I make sure to pull the long sleeves up like way past my elbows to make good and sure that they do not get wet, because I cannot stand wet hems of the long sleeve shirts. I don't like socks. For years as a child, I wouldn't wear socks. I would just wear shoes without socks because I have this weird thing about clothing and how clothing fits, and I'm very particular and very picky about it. I just cannot stand things that are uncomfortable, to the point that I literally will just like have an all-out freak out, and whatever it is, even if it's a nice shirt or whatever, I'll be like, just have to get rid of this because I'm never going to wear it again, because I cannot be uncomfortable. And Ira is actually a little bit like that, and I don't know if it's that he's like that or I'm just impressing that upon him because I'm like that and I'm worried, is he uncomfortable? If his pant leg gets pulled up and it's not like down around his ankle where I think it should be, is he uncomfortable? So do you do that? Do you have the weird sensory thing like I have of just like, oh my gosh, I can't stand stuff touching me? When I was pregnant, I got to this place in my pregnancy where I was like, I can feel my skin touching my skin. Oh my Lord, it drove me crazy. So that's me. I don't, picky, particular, don't. And that's another thing. If I'm going to sleep in long pajama pants because I'm cold, I better pull my socks up over them, or I better just have like little legging pajamas to sleep in, because if those long pajama pants bunch up around my knees while I'm trying to sleep, oh my Lord, it makes me so mad. The next thing, speaking of sleeping, I'm kind of just making a circle in the yard because it's super sunny over here and I don't want my face to get too like washed out. But speaking of sleep, I've seen this multiple times on websites. I've heard people say it. I've probably even heard like a chiropractor say it. about sleeping in the runner's, what I'm calling the runner's position. Do you sleep kind of either on your belly or on your side with one leg stretched out, so just one long leg, and then one leg pulled in toward the rest of your body? So I'm calling that like the runner's pose, because I'm thinking if you were like what I've seen before, like people like sprinters or runners, how they get down in the runner's pose and they're kind of in a lunge, you know. But I'm like, so do you sleep like that? And I've heard people say like that's terrible for your back, it's terrible for your hips, for your skeleton to lay for hours in this really asymmetrical position. But do you sleep like that with one leg way up and one leg out? I've always slept like that. I love sleeping like that. I couldn't sleep like that when I was pregnant, of course. And to the point when I was little, when I was younger, I would hold on to the foot of the leg that I had bent and like toward my chest. Like I would actually just get both hands and just like hold on to that foot and just like pull it up toward the rest of my body as hard as I could. I don't know why. I guess I just thought that was comfortable. And I'm like, that is such a weird way to sleep. I think mom sleeps like that, so maybe that's where I get it from. So you have to comment below and tell me if you sleep in the sprinter or runner's pose, or if you're a normal person and you just lay on your back. Or if you sleep on your belly. You know, I'm not exactly sure skeleton wise if that's good for you either, but I know it's so, you know, like I know probably one of the best ways that you could sleep would just be on your back. But I'm like, when you lay down to sleep, you're tired, and I guess you're not thinking about what's the best thing ergonomic wise for my body. You're probably just thinking, dude, can I get some sleep? It's kind of, you know, what I'm thinking. So let me know what you think about that. What you do. See a butterfly over here. I guess I could take a break from our questions and show you what you're doing. Yeah, got our nasturtiums. So that's something. The nasturtiums will bloom for a long time, well into the fall, and they honestly will bloom until they get bit by the frost. Some of them have already kind of started to look a little dull, but the nasturtiums are a hardy plant, and believe it or not, they're edible. You can eat them. I have, and it's, you know, I mean, it's not the best thing, but if you had to, at least you would know that that's something that you could do if you were hungry or needed to. And as far as nasturtiums go, I didn't have any this year, but, you know, you can see that this is a beautiful, rich orange color. Last year, I had some that were pink, like pink, and they were beautiful. The next one would be, do you talk to yourself or do you narrate what you're going to do when no one's around? And that's just so funny because we do YouTube, and then I feel like sometimes YouTube is a lot of talking to myself, right? Because I'm just talking to this camera, and of course I'm going to post this video, and then it'll be like I'm talking to y'all, but before I engage y'all in this video, it's like I'm talking to myself. So I think that's funny. It's like, are you one of those people that talk to yourself and you hear people say, oh yeah, that's okay as long as you don't answer yourself? And I'm like, but isn't that kind of what me and Corey and the rest of us do like all the time? Because we're first just talking to ourselves, and then we're talking to you second. So I do tend to narrate sometimes out loud or in my head. I'll be like, okay, here's the next thing I have to do. You know, I got up, I ate, I brushed my teeth, I got Ira down for a nap. So then the next thing I'm going to do is go downstairs and do a little bit of work, or maybe I need to go see Granny. And there's kind of just a running dialogue in my head all day of what I'm going to do next. Bitch, Mom. Mom stepped out on the deck. So do you do that? Do you have a running dialogue in your head of, this is what I'm going to do next? Or do you say it out loud? Like, okay, next thing I got to do is go over here. And does that help you or motivate you or help you kind of do what you need to do as far as completing your daily tasks? Or do you do that and not want to admit it? Because you're like, I don't want people to know that I narrate everything I'm going to do to myself out loud in my mind. I don't want people to know that I talk to myself. And answer myself. And I do, like, a lot. Like, I literally find myself every day being like, okay, what's next? Okay, here's the next thing. Got Ira to sleep. Now I'm going to go take a bath. Now I'm going to eat supper. Now I'm going to... And I don't know, it's like this thing I do. And especially if I've got something fun that I'm wanting to do, then I'm like, okay, the next time I'm going to go to Granny's, and that's going to be a lot of fun because we had some family come in last night and we got to visit them. So I'm like, okay, I'm looking forward to the end of the day. We're going to go see our family. Or, okay, next time Ira goes and takes a nap, I'm looking forward to working on this next droid project. Something like that. So, do you talk to yourself? And be honest. Maybe you do and you just don't want to admit it. Before we go on to the next question, look how pretty this flower is. It's just like one single little Xena here that's white. Like a beautiful cream white. And you know something? I love the colorful ones. Don't get me wrong. The pinks, the oranges. the purples, but sometimes just a single white little bloom is also very beautiful, especially in contrast to all the green. I was just thinking while I'm out here, I was listening, like, you can hear little birds, like little crickets, little bugs. Sometimes you can hear noise on the highway. Sometimes, of course, you hear the deer alarms. Occasionally I hear Binks if he's like down around my feet and I don't see him. But we always hear, where we live, and especially in the mountains, you can always hear the sounds of the mountains, of nature. You can hear the creek sometimes. Like if I stood here and it was real quiet, sometimes I can hear it from all the way up here. I can hear kind of the breeze and the trees. I can hear the bugs. I love listening to all of that kind of nature's soundtrack. And a lot of the times, honestly, it becomes background noise, ambient noise, because I'm so used to hearing it, and I've heard this my entire life. It's not ever something that I think about until I go somewhere and then it's not there. And I'm like, you know, take me a little while to be like, something's different. And I'm like, yeah, that kind of background noise that's always there, especially pretty much all the time except really, really, really cold winter, you know. And then I'm like, what's different? And you kind of take it for granted of this beautiful soundtrack, this beautiful noise that we have that just kind of ebbs and flows naturally. So speaking of noise, speaking of listening to things, music, are you the kind of person that likes new music? You like to find new artists, you like to listen to new things, you're always, you know, looking for the next album that your favorite artist has to put out? Or are you someone who picks the same 3 or 4 albums and you listen to those, you listen to the same people all the time, and you've heard the songs 40 blue million times and you just keep listening to the same thing over and over? Which one are you? You'll have to let me know. You probably know which one I am. It's probably no surprise when I say this, but I listen to the same 3 or 4 albums over and over and over. That's just like all I do. And I have listened to the same ones for years, and I know every song, and I don't do anything new, and I don't do anything different, and I don't seek out new music. I don't seek out new artists. I just keep doing the same old. And I'm not sure why I do it, honestly. I guess I just really like the albums that I'm listening to. Maybe it's a comfort thing. And TV's the same way, right? Do you watch new TV shows? Do you look forward to new TV shows? Are you like, man, the next season of whatever's coming out? Or do you just watch the same thing over and over and over? And you're like, I've seen this one so many times to the point that I can narrate the show. Like, I can narrate what the characters are going to say before they say it. I do that too. I watch like the Golden Girls, Matlock, Walker, Texas Ranger, like the same thing over and over and over and over again. Corey likes Murder, She Wrote. All of those kind of like 80s and 90s TV shows, we seem to just, that's just like all I watch. That and Gunsmoke. Now, I will say there was a lot of Gunsmokes. As far as probably one of the albums that I listen to, when I say I listen to the same 3 or 4 albums over and over and over, one of them is a Keith Whitley album, and I just literally know every word to every song and every, like, I know the order. Like, I could sit here and probably recall the order of every song, and it's just, I don't know, it's just, I guess it's what I like. But you have to let me know, do you do that? And if you do, which TV shows and which albums is it, you know, which artist, which TV show is it that you constantly keep going back to? Several years ago, this little show on Netflix come out called Lock and Key, and the first season was like, it was really good. And gosh, this was several years ago, and I like watched the entire thing, which is very rare for me because I don't like to watch TV. I don't like to keep up with something. I like to do something in the background. So if we're all sitting in the living room, Gunsmoke or Matlock's going on my TV in the evening. But as far as actually sitting down and giving TV attention or time, I don't do a whole lot of that. But this was a really good little series. So I watched the whole thing and I said, wow, I can't wait for the next one to come out. And then the next year, the next one came out. And Corey watched it. Corey and Austin both may have watched it. And I thought, okay, I'm going to get around to it. And I never did. And by now, I know there's at least 2 seasons, probably 3 seasons if they kept going out. And I never watched it again. And I'm probably not going to be honest. But Ira's still napping. The squirrels are dropping acorns. They've been cutting them. I was like, it's not a little bit early for that. There's a hickory nut tree over there, and I think one little squirrel was cutting on those. Okay, next question. And speaking of eating, squirrels. We're talking about these squirrels storing up nuts and cutting nuts, saving them for the winter. Speaking of food, nourishment. Of course, the squirrels are getting their acorn nourishment. We get food nourishment. So when you are eating, so like if you go somewhere to a restaurant and you get a plate, you know, is it a buffet or do you order, whatever, or you're at home and you've made supper or lunch, when you sit down to eat with your plate, do you like to take an even bite of everything? So if I had green beans, deer meat, maybe corn and bread on my plate, would I kind of want to take an even bite of everything and evenly space that piece of bread out as I finished in my meal? Or would I want to save the best for last? Like, I've seen Austin sometimes, he will eat all of one thing first and then kind of save one thing for last because it's his favorite. And then he eats it, that one thing, if it's the potatoes or whatever, and he eats them all last because they're his favorite. Do you do that? Do you save your favorite for last? If it's something on your plate and you're like, I don't really like this, but I know I'm eating it because it's healthy, like Brussels sprouts or something, do you eat those first to get those out of the way and then eat your next thing? I do that sometimes. Like, a lot of the times when we do homemade bread, like, that's my favorite. So I'll eat a little bit of bread here and there throughout the meal and then save a piece for last because that'll be like the last thing that I eat because it's my favorite. And I've known of other people to do that too. And then what else is interesting is water. Like, if you have something to drink with your meal, if it's tea, water, soda, whatever it is, do you just eat a little bit, take a sip, eat a little bit, take a sip, or do you wait until the very end to drink whatever you had as a beverage? I know a lot of people speak about digestion wise, that it's easier or maybe better for your digestion to eat first and then drink afterwards, but I can't seem to do that. I like to do every little bit. Eat a little bit, drink a little bit. Eat a little bit, drink a little bit, save the bread for last. So these are just questions that kind of little bitty, like, nuanced things about people and what people do and kind of habits. And it's actually really interesting, and it's very fascinating. If you go and spend any time or in a restaurant or in a public place around other people, you can kind of watch and observe some of these things and see what other people do. And I don't know, I just kind of think it's interesting. I may be the only one. I may be a geek or a loser. Man, I love that breeze. I hope it's not it doesn't sound too windy in the microphone, but man, it feels good. It does. And it looks like a little bit maybe awake from his nap. So I'm going to go see what he's doing. Sign off here. Hopefully this video will end up being something that you find interesting too, or it might have just been just a big long weird babble session from me. Hopefully not. Comment below, tell me what you think about these things. I'd be interested to see what everybody else says in response to some of these questions that affect each and every one of us. And that's about it. So until next time, God bless you, God keep you. I think I might show you one more flower or two, and we'll catch you at the next one. I thought everyone would appreciate the extra Binks footage. Stay tuned, because here in just a little while I have some footage of him doing some crazy stuff other than just milling around and eating grass. Not sure why he likes to do that, but check out what's coming up next. And this is really good footage for this video. Sometimes Binks likes to climb trees. I wish I'd have got the first part of the video of him actually getting up there, but this is what he likes to do because he is a very, very strange... Okay, so I've never seen him go that high. I'm hoping he decides to come down. This is a great way to end this video. Watch my cat in this tree.